lots of colonies.
Sorry?
You know, the common English people were suffering so that we could have colonies.
They were suffering,
It's always bad
invading other people's...
It's good for the wealthy, the rich, the royalty, but for the working people, it's not good for them.
So do you
have to compete with the
do you
jobs.
agree with the colonization that happened with the British and the French and the Germans? Okay, good. Do you agree with the? Do you agree with the? You gave what back? Do you
the first empire to give it back.
Do you agree with the invasion that happened in Iraq?
Well, not really.
A claim
I
that
agree
there is.
Saddam Hussein was a monster.
No, I'm saying a claim that
There's too many monsters.
Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Yeah, and based on that, you went there.
Yeah.
You destroyed the country.
Yes.
You took the goods from there. Now, if I go to your house and I destroy your house, and you come to my house to ask me for a place to live, I shouldn't complain because I destroyed your house unjustly, right? And coming to the other point that you mentioned, look, Muslims have no intention of taking over Britain. Can you tell me what you mean by taking over?
Well, building mosques everywhere, and
is that taking over to you?
well, I don't
How
think
is that
it's
taking over?
appropriate.
Sorry?
I don't think it's appropriate
Tell me why.
to come to a country and then
Do you believe?
practice a religion which preaches against the country.
Do you believe that people should have the freedom to express their religious faith, to pray?
Not really, no.
Not really. So you think people shouldn't have the freedom to be religious?
Not when they go to a.
So you should force them not to be
Not in a
religious?
Christian country.
Sorry?
When you're in a Christian
Where is
country.
the Christian country?
Well,
The laws of this
supposedly,
country, the laws of this
we're
country
atheist.
are not based. Yeah, it's not based on the biblical tradition.
Well,
It's not a Christian country.
That's where we get our morality.
Okay, morality came from the biblical tradition. Yes.
Emotional intelligence.
Before talking about emotional intelligence, what I'm referring to is this.
The Jews.
Do you agree that people should have the freedom to believe what they want to believe? Yes or
Yes.
no? Okay. Do you
when
believe?
in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Sorry?
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
So if you travel to a Middle Eastern country, you'll act like a Muslim.
Yes,
You grow your
but I
beard.
won't.
You'll wear a thawb. You start to pray.
Got no interest.
Sorry?
I got no interest.
No, but what you're saying is.
Why are you interested in my country?
What you're
I'm
saying,
not interested in yours.
What you're saying is ridiculous, right? Even if you have no interest,
I'm not interested.
there is other English people in my country, in other people's country, right?
Yeah.
It's not because you're not here doesn't
I wish
mean
they
that.
weren't.
Okay, now if you go pick them all from the other countries, then you can tell the people who are here to leave this country, right? That's a reasonable trade. But because you're not interested in leaving here, doesn't mean you can tell to others who are coming to enter. Look, you agree with this.
But what about
do you agree
proportion?
with the laws of this country?
How many English people are there in Pakistan?
Do you agree?
Versus how many
Do you agree with the laws
Pakistans?
of? Do you agree with the laws of this country? Do you want to move because of the noise? He doesn't want to move. Okay. Do you agree with the laws of
I
this
don't want to
country?
be filmed, really, but
That's fine. Do you agree with the laws of this country?
some of them and some. Well, for example, these new laws about wearing face masks.
Okay.
I do not agree because they should have been debated properly.
I'm not referring to these ones. I'm
All right,
referring to the normal laws.
So you want to talk about the laws that you want to talk about?
No. I mean, generally, the laws of this country before we had this pandemic even
but-
coming. Do you agree with that?
But it's quite an important point that they just made laws overnight without debating them. That's not how we do it.
I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you
just
on this
thrown
point.
out.
But we are not. We are having a discussion. We are having a discussion. We're having a discussion.
Scientists are communists. Man.
Just before we divert,
They're
we are having
literally some of them are part of the Communist Party of Britain.
we are having
Sage.
we're having a
Look it up.
discussion.
Susan Mickey, she's a communist.
We
she's
are
advising our government.
before we divert, brother.
One.
Excuse me, sorry, I'm having a
Isn't
conversation
one
with him
bad
here.
enough?
Before we divert to another conversation about
Someone who's
Corona.
a communist is advising our government.
We were having a discussion over people in this country, right?
Yeah.
Not Corona.
There's-
So I don't want to
There's a
divert.
pact with communism and Islam.
Okay, before we divert the discussion, what I was saying was very simple. There is laws in this country. Yeah, these laws have allowed the people who enter the country to enter. Right? If you have a problem with that, you should elect a party which
Yes, I did.
makes.
I tried to.
Okay, that means do you believe in
Brexit
democracy?
party.
Do you believe in democracy? Well, democracy says that they don't agree with you, my friend. So if the majority says that they are happy with other people coming because they bring business
Yeah.
opportunities, you shouldn't be upset if you believe in democracy.
If you looked at the map after the election, all the cities were red Labour. All the ordinary English people voted Conservative. Yeah.
Ordinary English people.
Yeah, the real.
So other people are not ordinary.
Yeah, the working class English people
Okay. Yes.
who love this country. They all
Okay.
voted Conservative.
And who hates this country?
Well, the people who live in London.
People who live in London hate London.
My family, my friends.
Okay.
They hate this country.
You're English
Yes.
people. You're referring to English
because
people now.
they're self-loathing because they've been taught at school to be ashamed of our culture.
And you're not happy with that?
No.
Ashamed of your history.
Yes, and I'm not.
British history.
Because I read it myself, and I'm not ashamed.
Can you tell me something
I'm
about
very proud.
Can you tell me something about the British culture?
Okay, yeah, we are the first culture in history to stop slavery.
Okay.
And at great
Where did you
expense,
get the information from?
Great expense. We patrolled the Atlantic Ocean with our navy to stop slave ships.
Can you give me a historical reference over what you just said?
So you're saying we didn't?
Yes,
didn't use
I'm
our
saying
naval ships to
you're not
patrol?
the first person to remove slavery. 100%
Right.
you're not.
Okay. Well,
do you have any evidence for the claim you made?
It's something that all mankind did. The whole of
Okay,
history.
so now it's all mankind, not the British people. I'm asking about. Do you know what culture means? Can you tell me what culture means?
Actually, I think slavery is a natural human nature.
Can you tell me what culture means?
It's not all bad.
Why is culture?
It's not all bad.
Why is culture?
What is culture?
Yes.
Well,
it's not an achievement your country did. I'm asking you. You said you want to protect the British culture.
Yes.
There's no such thing as the British culture. Tell me what is the British
Shakespeare.
culture? Shakespeare is the British culture. Are you being serious?
Magna Carta, all the medieval kings.
Tell me something about
King
your culture.
Canute.
I want to learn about your culture.
What
is it? You have a specific
English
dress.
The Tudors.
English food.
Henry VIII.
Why is the English
Henry
food?
VII.
Why is the English food you have? The English dress.
Yes.
Tell me
like eel,
your culture.
You know, seafood.
Seafood.
Yeah.
That's British. That's British food.
Haggis.
Fish and chips. Yeah. That is. Look, the problem is
we just got fish out of the ocean and cooked it like everyone else.
Do you know 100 years ago, in Britain, every woman who was walking these streets were covered her head?
Yes.
Why? This is your culture.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
That's
still doing
That's
it.
what culture is.
Yeah.
I'm saying 100 years ago, and that's what culture is.
Yeah, but we.
Okay, so your English culture says that women should cover their heads. So if you want to protect English culture, you should tell women to cover their heads, because that's your culture. 100 years ago, they were acting like Mary, the mother of Jesus, because they were following the Judeo-Christian laws, and they were covering like she was.
We've let that genie out the bottle now. With
you did
with women's rights.
Can you tell me? Oh, based on what have you done that?
We've gone too far.
No. Based on what have you removed that? Based on what have you said that this is now not relevant?
We've gone too far with women's rights.
Sorry?
I believe we've gone too far now with women's rights.
You mean you give women too much rights?
Yeah, I think they have to go to work, have an amazing career, and bring up loads of children. You can't do both.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why Islamically we don't agree with that.
Now.
Sorry?
I feel sorry for the women now because they're driving themselves crazy.
Yeah, there was a plan behind telling women telling women these things about feminism and telling them self-empowerment.
If they read history, they would get a more grounded.
That's why Islam is relevant today, because Islam agrees with you.
Yeah, it's
So
conservative.
you see, Islam agrees with you more than you think.
But I don't want any of that. I want.
What do you know about Islam?
I want Judeo-Christian conservatism.
What do you know?
Islamic conservatism.
What do you know? What do you know about Islam?
I know that it was started in the 7th century by Muhammad. So.
That's wrong information. The first information you know is wrong. What else do you know about Islam?
Was it based on Ishmael?
No.
A Jew?
No. We don't deal with this kind of racism stuff.
When did it start?
Islam started with the first human being.
Right.
Do you know what Islam means?
And what about Judaism?
Sorry?
Judaism
comes from Judah.
So it's before Islam.
Sorry? Was Adam before Judah or after
Hebrews,
Judah?
When they were born. You know, the beginning, before Jesus.
Do you want me to answer your question?
Yeah.
Islam means submission to the Creator.
Yeah.
Right? We believe Adam, the first human.
Submit.
I understand. Let me just finish. Did I tell you to submit? I'm explaining to you what we believe, right? The first human being existed, which we believe was Adam, right? He's submitting himself to the Creator, right?
Got that from the Jews.
By that, there was no Jews at the time. Now, if Adam was the first human being, how did you have Jews? Now, if you allow me to finish, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you allow me to finish, you'll understand what I'm saying.
Isn't it the Hebrew story?
Are you just repeating things you hear?
Is it not a Hebrew story, Adam and Eve?
No.
No.
It's not a Hebrew story.
So it comes from what, Arabia?
The stories that you see about Adam, about Noah, existed way before the biblical tradition.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a Hebrew
time, but they were the first people to get it down in writing properly.
Before
the Ten Commandments.
Before we talk about writing, let me explain what I'm saying, right? Islam means submitting to your Creator, right? The one who created you, the one who made you. We believe the first human being was a Muslim, Adam. Now you're referring to Judaism. Judaism comes from Judah. Judah is of the 12 sons of Jacob. Jacob was the son of Isaac. Isaac was the son of Abraham.
Yes.
What religion was Abraham? There was no Judaism.
Well, yeah, he was.
There was no Torah. There was no gospel.
Assyrian.
That's not a religion.
Astarte.
That's not a religion.
That's the thing. They were monotheists.
I'm asking what religion was he?
They were monotheists.
Persian.
Is Persian a religion?
Well, Zoroastrianism.
There was no Zoroastrianism at the time.
Cyrus the Great.
He didn't exist at the time. He was not even born.
He was a friend of the Jews.
How is your knowledge of history?
Well, it's patchy.
Okay, now.
Like everyone's is.
Okay, let's.
There's not enough time to read like the entire history perfectly.
I agree, but before you make a claim about Muslims, you should know one or two things about them.
I keep hearing the 7th century started by Muhammad, and you're saying that's not true.
So, do you believe any hearsay things
well,
you hear around?
You hear something again and again and again, you say. I guess
do you know what brainwashing is?
Yes, obviously.
Okay, that's what happened to you, my friend.
But I'm aware of.
I'm telling you, that's what happened to you.
I always play devil's
Do you hear in the media? Do you hear in the media you have to wear the mask?
I question everything.
Do you hear in the media you keep hearing you have to wear a mask?
I don't do it.
Why do you disagree with that?
I don't do it.
Exactly. So similarly, when you hear in the media that Islam started
skepticism.
Okay. When you hear in the media repeatedly that Islam started in the 7th century, it doesn't make it a fact.
Not in the media.
Where did you hear it?
Like I look up, I listen to. I've heard other Muslims tell me this.
From who? Name me one Muslim who told you that.
Ones I've seen online.
The ones you've seen online.
Yeah.
So you heard something online, and that made it true, made it a fact.
You're saying it started just. It was always there.
Islam is a concept.
Islam is a concept. You can't prove that.
Islam is a concept of submission.
Okay.
Right? We believe each prophet that came to humanity, Adam, Jesus, Moses, Noah, Abraham, all of them were Muslims. They will all bring in a concept of submission to your Creator. Right? We don't believe Prophet Muhammad started that. No, he didn't start that.
You don't think he's important?
Did I say that? Or you're putting words into my mouth? You're asking who started the religion, not who's important and who's not.
He's the most important figure in the history of Islam.
In what way? Allah says in chapter 2 of the Quran. Do you want me to answer my question?
Who wrote the hadith?
Allah says in chapter 2. Which question do you want me to answer? What's your name? Where do you live? Did you travel last year? Did you come here?
Okay,
did you go there? Which question do you want me to answer?
Who wrote the hadith?
Okay, very good question. Who wrote the hadith were the companions of Prophet Muhammad. The people who lived with him, people who heard what he said, wrote down what he said, and it transmitted back to us. We have carbon dated manuscripts of what Prophet Muhammad said.
Yeah, right. And he plagiarized it from the Hebrew text.
Okay, what did he plagiarize? Give me one example. Brother, if you just allow me to. Sorry?
Jesus?
He plagiarized Jesus, a historical person,
Jesus.
figure.
Yeah.
How did he plagiarize him?
The Jews.
Did you read the story?
They mention him.
Did you read the story of Jesus in Islam and the story of Jesus in the Bible?
The Jews.
Sorry?
They mentioned Jesus, the King of the Jews.
Are you saying Jesus was the King of the Jews? The Jews don't agree with you.
That's what he called himself.
The Jews don't agree with you.
Are you Christian? From David.
Are you Christian?
Well, I was brought up Christian.
You was brought up
But
Christian.
now I've learned.
So do you believe
we owe everything to.
Do you believe in Christian values?
Jews.
Do you believe in the Bible?
We owe everything to the Jews.
Do you believe in the Bible?
The Old Testament. Yeah.
In the Old Testament, not the New Testament.
Not so much.
Okay, so in the Old Testament, when God told people, in Numbers 31 verse 17, when Moses told his soldiers to take little girls, right, and rape them, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
You agree with rape of little children?
Of course not.
That's the British values.
No.
You want to bring, and you don't want Islam.
Yeah, we rape lots of young.
But you said you agree with the Old Testament.
I think
do you agree if you rape a woman?
Where young people get raped more.
Do you agree if you rape a woman, you should give her father? Do you agree if you rape a woman?
Not me.
Do you agree if you rape a woman?
Come on, the Catholic Church.
Brother, we don't want to divert. Please,
it happens
please
in
let me
every
speak
part
with
of
him.
society.
Do you agree if you go?
Pedophiles want to make you think.
Do you agree?
The Catholic Church.
Pedophiles in the Vatican and anywhere else in the world.
No, that's what they want. That's what the pedos want you to believe. So you don't put them everywhere else. They're everywhere.
Brother.
They're everywhere. They're in the Protestant church. They're in the Jewish church.
Do you agree that if you should go rape a woman, you should pay her father 50 shekels, and then she should be forced to marry you? That's what the Old Testament says. Deuteronomy.
But we know where that's going on in the world still, don't we?
Do you agree with it? That if you rape a woman, she should be forced to marry you?
But that happens in countries in the world now.
That's your morality. That's what you believe in.
Why don't we fight against it?
You said you're Christian, you believe in the Old Testament. That's your morality.
Saudi Arabia. Why don't we stop it?
You should stop it. I agree.
Well, no, I think
what part of Saudi Arabia do you want to stop? What is it that you want to stop?
We should just cut them off.
Sorry?
We should just cut Saudi Arabia.
So you should kill Saudi Arabia?
No, cut them off.
So you're propagating killing innocent people? Is that what you're saying?
Let them kill each other.
Let them kill each other.
That's what they'll do.
So you believe that people should go killing each other?
No, well, it's their business. I'm not interested in what they do.
So who told you they want to kill each other? You said let them kill each other.
I'm interested.
So is that the values you're saying? Push Islam away, but let's allow other people.
It's not my business.
Where did they tell you they want to kill each other?
It's not my business.
When did they say they want to kill each other?
It's not my business what goes on.
When did they say they want to kill each other?
Well, they don't seem to have value life.
Have you been to Saudi Arabia?
Well, they have slaves.
Have you been to Saudi Arabia?
No,
Can you tell me one city in Saudi Arabia?
But they build, you know, Dubai, they're building these huge...
Dubai is not in Saudi Arabia.
United Arab Emirates.
Okay, so you were referring to Saudi
But it's
Arabia.
the
Why
same.
did you go to the
But
United
they're
Arab
very
Emirates?
similar.
How?
They're not similar.
Well,
Are you
they're
similar to the German
they're
because they're next to you?
No, no.
Are you similar? Are you similar to USA?
They're ultra-conservative.
Sorry?
They're ultra, like...
Who told you that?
Well, that's what I see.
That's what you think, but you have no knowledge
You're
of
saying
them.
they're liberal countries.
No, are you assuming liberalism is true? What evidence you have for that?
Yeah, to a point, yes.
Tell me your evidence for the truth of liberalism.
Well,
Why should we adopt
I'm a
liberalism?
liberal in the sense that I allow you. I'm not going to tell you what.
You
to
allow
do.
me?
Yeah, I
You
allow
think you have authority to allow me
No,
to stop me?
well, no, yes.
You have the same authority
And
in this country as I do.
You have the same authority to
Yeah, so
allow
you-
me to have my own opinion and to say what I want.
That was the beginning. You said Muslims should not have their freedom to pray in their mosque.
Not
And now
in
you're
England.
saying you're liberalist
Not in
and
England.
you want to allow them to pray. You're contradicting
Because
yourself.
I don't think I wouldn't go to a Muslim country and build a church.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that.
You're saying you're a liberalistic person.
Yeah.
You believe in liberalism,
Yeah,
but you don't.
letting
But you
people
don't
do what
want.
they want.
You don't want to give the liberty to Muslims to pray.
Not in my country.
So where should they pray?
In their
You give me a solution.
In their country.
No, they live here now. Where should they pray?
Well, if they
They're working. They're giving you money. They're paying you taxes.
But if they wanted
Your
to pray,
country
they
is
shouldn't
growing.
move here.
Your
They
country-
shouldn't move to a Christian country.
Your country is growing. Your country.
Yeah. So
Okay, he was born here. So what do you want to tell him?
So love this country.
What do you have to say to
love
him?
this country's tradition.
Did he tell you he hates this country? Where does he pray?
Why don't you be a Christian?
Oh, so your solution is for him to leave his religion and adopt yours. That's liberalism.
No, I don't.
That's liberalism,
I wouldn't
yeah?
want him to leave his
Liberalism
religion
is to
'cause he'd be
force you.
killed.
Liberalism is to force you to leave your own religion and adopt another one.
What's the punishment for apostasy?
In what religion?
Which one?
In the Old Testament.
The only one.
In the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy chapter 13,
the
verse
only
6,
one which has
is to
death.
kill the person
And
yourself.
The only one that is
In
death.
your morality, you should go kill the person yourself. Deuteronomy chapter 13,
What
verse
in
6.
2020?
Is that what you believe?
What in 2020?
But you believe in the Bible,
Which
you said.
religion in 2020?
You said you believe in the Bible.
Is the punishment death for
So
apostasy?
can you tell me what is the punishment for apostasy? Can you tell me?
Yeah, death.
Death.
In
That's what
Islam.
you believe.
In Islam.
No, but liberalism is the same. That's what John Stuart Mill said.
What?
Do you agree with that?
Say I don't agree.
Do you know what
with
social
liberalism, you get
contracts
killed,
are?
yeah?
Sorry?
You get killed.
Sorry?
You get killed if you say you don't believe in liberalism here.
No, I'm saying treason.
Yeah.
If you apostate,
Oh, now you're talking about treason.
what is apostasy?
Leaving a religion.
Okay, is that not considered to be treason?
Well, in Islam, apparently, yeah.
And you're talking about Islam. Can you tell me where does Islam say that the punishment
We
for
don't
apostasy
care.
is death?
No one's Christian anymore, so no one cares. You can slag
But
off
you
God
said
as
you're
much as
Christian.
you like here.
You said you were Christian. What happened to you? You changed your mind now?
No.
You said you believed in the Old
I
Testament.
was a lap Christian, and then I realised that we owe everything to Jews.
You said you believe in the Old Testament.
Yes.
People heard you saying you believe in the Old
Yes,
Testament. Okay.
because
If you believe in
I've
the Old
only
Testament,
recently realised that.
the punishment in the Old Testament of apostasy is to kill the person yourself. You should gather everyone around, pick up stones and stone the guy yourself. We don't believe in that as Muslims. That's what you believe
Well,
in.
you should, yeah.
Oh, you should?
Yeah.
So now you're happy with killing apostates. Why were you upset about it 2 minutes ago?
Well, no.
Why are you contradicting yourself every 2 minutes?
Because I'm
Look.
human. Is it?
It's fine to be
all
human.
do.
It's fine to make mistakes.
think you've never
My only
contradicted
advice.
yourself?
My only advice.
Have
Of
you
course
never
I have.
contradicted-
I have.
There you go.
I have.
So don't be
But
so
I don't speak about things without
patronising.
knowledge like you. I don't speak about things that I don't know. When I spoke about your text, I gave you references.
Who really knows anything, you know?
Who really knows
What is
every-
knowledge?
Do you exist? At least you know that. Are you talking to me right now?
Yeah, but you don't
So
know
we know
what I've
certain
read.
things, yeah?
You don't know what I've read, and you don't know
Oh,
what
I
I've
certainly
read.
know you haven't read the Old Testament, that you just believe. You say you believe.
I've read some of it,
Some of
but
it.
you've got to keep reading it and reading it.
Okay, what have you read in the Old Testament? Give me a verse.
Lately I was reading about Gideon,
Give me a verse.
and
Yeah.
and God told him the Midianites were coming up into, well, I think it was like Sinai,
Okay.
and they were eating, grazing all their livestock on the land.
Okay.
And God told Gideon, you need to get rid of these people.
Kill them,
Yeah, kill
eliminate them,
them.
and
Yeah.
you agree with that.
Yeah, because they're eating all your...
So you believe that
or
British people should
vegetation.
kill the Muslims that are doing the same, right?
Well, I believe the people that come across the
You
channel...
believe
not
Muslims
kill
should be
them,
killed. That's what you believe.
Just say, go back.
You believe the British people
say
should
go
kill.
back.
You believe British people should
can't-
kick out the Muslims that are in this country.
Yeah, for the sake of the
Yeah, Yeah,
for
thank
the
you.
poorest people in this country,
Yes.
you need to protect this country. That's
So you
why
should
you
kick the
protect
Muslims
the
out.
borders.
You should kick the Muslims
It's
out.
all right for the wealthy people.
So you should kick the Muslims out.
No, yeah, the poor
Do you know what
people-
happens if you kick the foreigners in this country?
Yeah, some
You
of
will
them.
not have food to
Some
eat.
of them.
You will not have food to eat.
Not all of
The
them.
only reason, all your goods in this country are coming from outside.
Don't you think there's a,
All the workers
don't
in
you
this
think there's
country
a
are
good amount-
foreigners.
Don't you think there's a point where there comes too many? Don't you think there's a we want some, but not the entire world?
No, only a racist thinks like you.
A racist.
I don't mind if in my country existed British people or others, as long as they're living peacefully, as long as they're helping in the building of the country.
But we
Where
can't
is the
take
issue?
everyone.
Sorry?
We can't take everyone.
You don't take anyone. You have no authority. You're just a citizen. No one asked you before inviting anyone. When people put laws in this country, they didn't ask your opinion, did they? I thought you believe in the
But we're
democracy.
trying to reassert
As someone who
the
believes
power
in
of the
democracy,
people.
sorry,
We're trying to reassert now.
which is democracy, the
Yeah,
power
yeah.
of the people.
But we've
the
let it slip.
The power
we've
of
let
the
it slip since the Second World
No,
War.
according to you, the majority thinks
No.
that it's fine
The
to allow
majority
people.
doesn't think.
It does.
No.
It does. So you're saying a majority of these people in this country are idiots?
Well, no, majority of human
Thank
race.
you. They're listening to you
There's
now.
an elite.
They're listening to
of
you
people
calling
that
them
read.
idiots.
There's an elite of people that read history and have open minds, skeptical minds, critical think.
Okay. You don't like Islam, right? Can you
No,
give me
I
an
like-
alternative?
Yes.
Can you give me a certain
Christianity.
set of values? Alternative is Christianity.
Yeah,
Okay.
Judaism.
So if a woman shouldn't, I was giving you certain verses in Judaism and Christianity now. If a woman doesn't cover her head, it should be shaved. Do you agree with that?
No.
That's Christianity. That's the alternative. I thought you believed in the alternative. Yes, it's in the Bible. Corinthians chapter 11. So if you believe in the Bible, you should believe that all of these women here should be shaved.
You can use your judgment to, you know, some things are just not applicable in the modern world. You know, we
So
come,
who
we come
decides?
to a certain
Who
place
decides?
now. You can't go back to
who decides?
medieval times.
Who decides?
You can't go back.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's in the New Testament. That is the most recent about Paul wrote.
Wise people who've read a lot. Yeah, people like me.
No, I'm asking you now. Who decides which verses to take from the Bible
Yeah.
and which not to take? And why should we take your opinion over anyone else?
Because you,
If we have two people, one saying we should apply this verse and you're saying we shouldn't, why should we take your opinion?
I think because if some people have dedicated their life to learning and being
You
wise-
haven't, clearly.
No, I
You haven't even heard of this verse in your life, and you're saying we should
I
apply the
I
Bible.
admit I was a late starter, but I'm trying to make up for a lost time by reading as much as I possibly can. And every time I read a book, I feel like I've become a better. You know, my mind has become better.
That's a good thing. Have you read the Quran?
The Quran?
Yeah.
No, because there's not enough
Because
time.
you're prejudiced.
No, I want to read the Old Testament.
So after
I'd rather,
reading,
wouldn't it be better to read the Old Testament again rather than read the Quran?
it wouldn't be better. Do you know why?
Because it all comes from the Old Testament.
No. Because
Yes.
because that's your assumption
There's
over it.
nothing original in
Because that's your assumption over it. The story of Adam and Eve. I'm giving you an example.
there.
The story of Adam and
What's
Eve.
the great original idea in the Quran?
Correct?
Give me one great
whole
idea
Quran.
that could
The whole Quran.
of the whole Quran that you could just say in a sentence which would make me change my mind on the Quran. Give me some
Nothing will
amazing
change
piece
your
of
mind.
wisdom.
Nothing will change your mind in the Quran. Let me give you a few verses.
Exactly, there you go.
Let me
said
tell
it.
you. No, because you're prejudiced over it. You have set up your mind
Well,
over
if you
it.
could,
Okay, let me tell you a
I've got
verse.
an open mind to a brilliant idea.
Okay, let me
A
tell you.
very wise idea. Give
Let
me a
tell you-
wise idea. from
I'll
the
give
Quran.
you a wise idea. Allah
Yeah.
says in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 256, there is no compulsion in acceptance of religion. Muslims don't believe that you should compel anyone to adopt a religion. You should
You
enforce
could
it
have
on
fooled
him.
me.
Sorry?
You could have fooled me.
Oh, go read it. Chapter 2, verse
But didn't
256.
Muhammad, like,
Open your
enforce-
phone now, read it.
No, didn't Muhammad
No, he
enforce by force?
No, he didn't.
No, he wasn't a warlord.
No, he wasn't a warlord.
He was a peace.
How do you define a warlord?
He was like Jesus was. He was like.
How do you?
Don't
Jesus
be
was a man of
violent,
peace.
man.
Do
He
you
was a
believe that?
hippie. He was a fucking hippie.
Do you believe Jesus was a man of peace?
Yeah, I think he's a hippie. I don't think
Jesus
he was
was a hippie.
I don't think he was all good.
Jesus was a hippie.
In a way, yeah.
Okay.
You know, turn the other cheek.
Okay, now
Sometimes
you know
don't
what?
turn the other
At least
cheek.
I care about Jesus. He's my
Sometimes you have to
prophet.
fight to the
He's
death.
I'm offended you calling him that because he's my prophet. I don't appreciate you calling him. He will call you a hippie.
He's nothing.
What are you compared
You
to
don't
Jesus?
own him.
What are you compared to Jesus? How many people did you influence in your life? How many people
Well, we'll see.
know about you?
We'll see by the
How
end.
many people know
We'll
about
see
you?
by the end.
Compare yourself to a man
We'll see.
who existed 2,000 years ago. You know about him. You know his life.
Yeah.
What are you compared to him? You're calling him a hippie. What are you compared to him? What have you changed in the world?
Now in the age
What have
of
you changed in the world?
democratized information,
You are,
things
you know,
are
you
gonna
know,
change
you know.
now, buddy.
Nothing of Jesus do you compare to.
Yeah, he's
You
just
are nothing
lying.
compared to him.
just one guy.
You are nothing compared to him.
He's just a human.
He is a guy, but humans are not equal in the impact they do over the world. The guy who gave you who invented electricity is not like the guy who didn't do anything in his life, is it? Okay, so Jesus is not like you. He's better than you in that aspect. He had effects over humanity, where he put these commandments to so many people that exist today that don't kill, don't rape, don't steal because of his commandments. That they maybe killed you, that they maybe stole from you.
Jesus came nearly 1,000 years after Abraham, you know. So there were many Jewish prophets before Jesus.
Hinduism
so Jesus get all the credit.
Hinduism existed before Judaism.
I think Moses is just.
Why are you not following Hinduism?
What about Moses?
Why are you not following Hinduism?
Jesus, God spoke to Moses, gave him the Ten Commandments.
How do you know that?
Moses is just as much Jesus' son
How do you know
God's son as Jesus.
How do you know God spoke to Moses?
I just know it. Like,
You just know it.
Heart. Yeah.
You just know it.
That's what I've learned recently.
So if someone knows otherwise, he
Moses
also just knows it.
Moses is a very important thing.
Why?
Because why?
Give me a reason.
Why was his idea?
He's just a man, according to you.
How has his ideas conquered the entire world?
Where?
Well, North America, South America, Africa.
Okay.
Asia.
They're not Christian countries today.
Well,
so how they're not Jewish countries. So how did Moses affect them?
It's based in Judas.
Look.
It's based in Moses.
Let's have some rationality.
It's based in Moses, yeah.
Let's have some rationality.
What's wrong with Moses?
I believe in Moses. I have nothing wrong with him.
And you don't believe he had the Ten Commandments?
I'm showing you the inconsistency in what you're saying. That's the only thing I'm doing.
You're just being a sophist.
You're asking.
Trying to be clever. But
what would I gain from that?
It's very bad.
What would I gain from that?
I get a feeling of kind of bad will from your arguments.
So you know now you see what's in my heart. The person who wants to kill Muslim, kick them out.
You're trying to be.
Is the person who judges other people who has the ill will and goodwill.
You're trying to catch me out, but it's not going to work.
What would I gain from that?
I don't know, like some kind of shallow feeling of superiority. I don't know.
And then what did I gain?
That.
Wasting my time. That's what I gain.
An ego boost.
Are you trying to convert him?
No, I didn't.
An ego boost.
He's here having the most absurd, bad thoughts about Islam. How can I convert him?
He's also have bad thoughts about Christianity and
Sorry?
Christ. He also.
No, he's not Christian.
No, but then what's the point of the conversation? Because he obviously jarring you.
He believes that Muslims in this country should be kicked out. I'm a Muslim. So he did say that. He did say that.
What's his
because it's a Christian country.
Look, there you go.
So
he believes you should be kicked out as well.
Are you a Christian?
You're not English.
Are you a Christian?
Well, kind of a lapsed Christian, but now I've realised that Judaism.
Shouldn't he be kicked out? He's not English.
He's Rastafarian.
So he should go back to his country. He should go back to his country. Or should he stay here?
Well, if you love, don't you love Ethiopia? Don't you love Ethiopia?
You see, now you're going to go against him. You see now why I'm talking to him. That is the reason I'm talking to him.
You're in Ethiopia.
In Ethiopia?
Yeah.
The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, so we should be happy wherever we are.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but this land, no one in this country cannot give anyone an acre of land because they don't own any land. Everything that we get, we have to buy. Even the queen, she have to buy.
When he's staying here, he's paying taxes. He's not staying here for free. When he works, he benefits the country, just like I do, just like every person here does.
Yeah, but
you want to kick the people who are actually helping the economy of your country.
Bro, it's illegal.
I don't think you want to go back to your country because it's corrupt.
Illegal for us to pay.
Where is my country?
Well, every country.
Where is my country? Can you please tell me what is my nationality?
Well,
how do you know my country is corrupt when you don't even know where I'm from?
Because all Islamic countries are corrupt.
What's your nationality?
How do you know I'm from an Islamic country?
Well,
what's your nationality?
Sorry?
A wild guess.
And that's the issue.
So
right? You're profiling people.
Are you from a Christian
You're profiling people, and you have prejudices against other people.
What's mine?
What's your nationality?
English.
So English is a nationality, or is it a language?
Yeah. Are we not? Am I not allowed to have a nation?
English is it English a nationality, or is it a language?
He doesn't know about history.
No, but this guy. Let me ask you a question.
You said that yourself.
Is English? You said you're an Englishman.
Yeah.
Is English a language, or is it? It's a language.
It's a Latin-based language.
Yeah. So what's your origin?
Saxon, Central Europe.
Saxon, and how did the Saxons get here?
Germany.
How did they get here?
On ships.
Doing what? How did they? What was
there? Were they
traders?
Well, there were indigenous people.
Hold on. Were they traders?
And then we mixed. There was a Norman invasion in 1066, and then we intermarried. So it was like 10% of the population is Norman.
So the Bible was translated 400 years ago.
Yeah, and we did crusades.
Hold on, listen. I haven't even finished my question. The Bible was translated 400 years ago, 1611.
King James version.
King James version.
Yeah, this is the first
But
one.
it was
Yeah.
translated way before that.
It was translated
No.
from Hebrew.
In Greek.
He's talking about the English translation. First
These
English one.
guys,
Yeah, but it's translated
these
into
guys,
Greek by-
you see?
The first English translation was the King
Okay,
James.
okay. So the first English translation
Yeah.
was
The King James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it came from
And they
Greek,
made a lot of mistakes.
this guy,
He has a question to you.
he
Just one
understand.
side.
He understand. I understand where his mindset is because
Yeah,
obviously,
it's going very fast.
yeah, you study from, but you suffer from anxiety.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah, because you can't wait until a question is finished, so you're anxious. So just chill.
All right.
So 1611, before 1611, what book were your ancestors or your people using before 1611?
Are we?
Because remember, you didn't speak Hebrew.
They were reading Latin. You know, the scholars were reading Latin
So you said this
and
country
Greek
is English.
translation.
This country is an English-speaking country.
Yeah, the monks started monasteries in like.
This country,
In medieval times.
listen. You're the one that said
Listen,
it.
I'm talking. You saying listen?
No, but you haven't answered my question.
Yeah. Well, I'm
This
explaining.
country is a.
It's not. It doesn't start with the King James Bible. It goes
What
way
did it start?
before that?
What book was it before?
Medieval monks
Yeah.
teaching Latin.
So
Very elite. Very elite.
So Christianity.
Most people
Okay,
are peasants.
okay.
Most people are peasants.
Okay, that's fine. So Christianity.
Yeah.
Would you say that there was no Christians in England before 1611? Or were they reading? Were they?
No,
was
well,
it Greek? Were they speaking
That
Greek?
was the religion.
So Christianity was the religion.
Believed in a
But-
Jewish God. Yeah.
Okay. So before 1611, what kind of book were they reading to like uplift themselves?
They
weren't
were
reading.
being preached to, like the peasants were preached to by.
So they were
priests
being preached
and
to
monks.
by the Israelites.
Yeah, basically.
Obviously the Hebrew Israelites.
Now we're getting to your plan.
Yeah, so
Now you get it from his plan to your plan.
So we're
No,
getting
well,
something.
yes,
we're
yes.
on the same-
I know where you're going with
No,
this,
we
right?
both agree.
But I want to have a discussion with them over kicking people out who are not from his
But
country.
that's
It
bringing,
is relevant.
That's bringing
It is-
eight.
I'll tell you why it's
No,
relevant. Because he seems like to at least like a person who listens,
Bro,
right?
you just-
he is a person
I
who
don't-
listens.
no.
So at least we can have a rational discussion with him to
What?
maybe understand where he's coming from, right?
Inside eight.
If
inside
the
eight,
people
avoid that.
if the people in this country are here supporting the development of your country, right? They love this country, they have nothing against this country, and they just want to have the freedom to express their belief. Do you agree with that?
No, because
Does
the
that
belief is preaching against our values.
How?
Women, for example,
Okay.
because we've evolved to a very liberal society, which is good to a point. You know, like I don't agree with gay marriage, but I do agree with allowing gay people to live in peace.
So Muslims agree with the same, believe in the same.
Really,
They do.
in some places they throw them off buildings.
That's not from Islam. So I want
happens
to know.
be an Islamic country.
No, I want to know. Yeah, but there's people in this country who do evil things.
When
Are
the
you
Bible
responsible
says
for
you
that?
should put to death.
Are you
Yeah, I
responsible?
don't-
Before the Bible just
live and
says,
let live. Huh?
are you responsible for the people who are English doing bad things? Are you responsible for them? Because just because they're English. Just because they're English.
Bro, you see,
So I agree there is people who do bad things in Muslim countries.
Yeah,
I do
but
agree. I'm the first person against that.
there's no Muslim
But it
country.
doesn't mean that this is from Islam.
There's no
But
Muslim
it's sort of
country.
sanctioned by Islam.
People, you're
kill
saying that
gays.
there's a Muslim
Sorry?
country. There's
What about Pakistan? Pakistan was founded as a Muslim
Islam
country.
allows them to kill gays without guilt because they think they're going to go to hell.
No, it doesn't.
For killing gays because they're doing the right thing.
I'm telling you it doesn't.
They'll get virgins.
Do you know what
They'll
matters?
get many virgins if they kill people. in
Now what
the
you're
name of
repeating
Allah.
is what you heard online.
Is
that not true?
It's not true.
Do you think
I'm
nobody's
telling you,
killed
I'm
themselves?
answering you now. I'm answering you. Would
Do
you
you
like
really
an
believe
answer?
no one's killed themselves?
segregation.
Would you like an
For
answer?
that
And
reason.
even when
For
people
what?
speak
For the reason they're thinking they're going to get 37
No.
virgins.
God,
Do you know? I'll give you an example. ISIS is the
know
most popular
we
kind of
come from
terrorist
women.
organization. Do you agree?
You get 37
Do you know what
mother-in-law,
ISIS stands
You
for?
get 37 mother-in-law too.
Sorry?
If you get 37 virgins, you have to have 37
Do you want an
mothers-in-law.
answer? Do you want to answer?
It's a joke.
Yeah, I understand.
You don't understand
But,
jokes, but
I do understand relevant jokes, not irrelevant
only
jokes.
Jews
But-
and English people understand jokes.
Okay, that's all right. That's a racist statement, but I'll take it. No
That's the
problem.
truth.
Okay,
We've given
it's a
away
racist
comedy.
statement. Sorry?
What comedy have you given us?
Do you want? Look, the problem is with jumping everywhere,
No, the
right?
Bible is-
Yeah.
I want to have a discussion
And you
with
can't keep
a
up.
rational discussion. No, I want to have a rational discussion with you, not to jump around, right? Okay, now coming back to what gay and non-gay people. The Quran says that killing an innocent people is like killing all of humanity.
Be nice to people.
The Quran says fight those who fight you, right? And do not transgress. Allah does not love those who transgress. We don't believe in transgression. Allah says, sorry?
You won't say that, and you won't stand
That's
up
in
for
the
the
book.
gays in
That's what
Saudi
the book
Arabia.
says. Sorry?
If you're in Saudi Arabia, you won't defend the
What's
gay
happening
man.
to the gays in Saudi Arabia?
That's where they're throwing people off.
No,
roofs.
that's wrong. Give me one video, one evidence, one photographic evidence of that happening.
Maybe it's all made up.
That is what you just referred to is made up.
Right.
That doesn't
never
happen.
happen.
Do you know why?
They never killed a gay
Do you know why I'm telling you it doesn't happen?
They never dragged a gay man out of his house and beaten him. It's never happened.
That is not from Islam in any way, shape, or
That
form.
used to happen here a lot, yeah.
Sorry?
We used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
I know. Before 1960, you used that. Here, just near here, they used to hang them here.
we
Okay.
stopped.
Why is it wrong?
Why is it wrong?
Why
shouldn't kill-
what they did was
you
wrong
shouldn't
and
kill.
is right today?
You shouldn't kill it.
Why?
Because you can't. It's not your right
If I'm
to take away someone's
if I'm
life.
coming to kill you,
It's not your right to take away.
if I'm
my
coming to kill you, should I be killed back? If I want to kill everyone here, should I be killed
Well,
to protect the lives of the other people?
I'll try and defend myself in self-defense. If I kill myself in self-defense,
No, I'm gonna kill you. Will you kill me if you protect your family? If I'm coming to kill your family?
Yeah.
So killing is not wrong in all circumstances.
yeah,
you
but
agree?
we're talking
I
about
mean, I'm
killing
not gonna say
people
what
for
Innocent people
because
is
they want to
wrong.
sleep with.
Killing innocent people is wrong. You agree?
Because of the people they want to sleep with, which is none of my business. Who you want to sleep with?
I agree. I agree. So Islam agrees with you as well.
Oh please, you're
The problem is
not liberal. like that.
if you're saying, look, if you think Islam says
You have to obey, submit, like you said. You don't get to question.
I do submit, but I'm
You're not
saying-
allowed to question it.
who told you that?
That's the whole point.
When you read it, you will see that you were wrong.
The Jews question everything.
The Quran tells you.
You know, that's Jewish culture to pick apart everything.
The Jews, you don't know about the Jews. That's the issue. How many Jews? How many laws did the Jews follow?
You know, we had a Jewish prime minister, basically.
There was a Jewish person
In
here. I would love to bring him to tell you.
Benjamin Disraeli.
Sorry.
His name is even Disraeli.
Just before we divert
Disraeli.
again. Before we
He was
divert again.
our prime minister.
Before we divert again, look, it's hard for me to get all these misconceptions you have in your mind about Islam.
All right.
But I can tell you one thing.
Hamas.
If I can tell you one thing, Hamas does not represent
Maybe it's
Islam. What
stereotyping.
I can tell you one thing.
You get me?
Do you know what represents Islam?
What represents Islam?
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
The book of Islam, the Quran, and what Prophet Muhammad said. Now what individuals do.
What about
The
the
problem
hadith?
is you see, and I said what Prophet Muhammad said, which is the hadith. Now, what people do is not a representation of the faith. Not just because someone happened to be a Muslim, he done a bad deed, Islam is responsible for it. Just not like because someone who's Christian, like the KK group, Christianity is responsible for it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that.
Do you know how many people are in the KKK?
No, I don't know. Do you know?
Very few.
No one knows how many really,
Tiny.
the number of people in the
Tiny.
KKK. You think they know the number? They would arrest him if they knew the number.
Highly
Sorry?
selective.
It's
I understand.
proportion of the population
I'm not-
who are in the Ku Klux Klan.
What is the population of ISIS? Why is the population of ISIS compared to Muslims?
No idea.
Okay. Do you know how many Muslims are in the world? 2 billion Muslims are in the world. Do you know the ISIS? Few thousand people. They're not even 0.0.1%, right? These people are nothing compared to Muslims. It's the same as you refer to as the KKK group. The point is that if someone does that,
How many Muslims, although they don't actively do these things, they agree. They'll allow the terrorists.
there are so many.
They won't condemn the terrorists.
They would. Every Muslim here in this park that comes speaks about Islam, condemns ISIS.
But when we
Have you asked if any
for
Muslim here who
example,
comes to speak?
When we had that terrorist.
Have you asked any Muslim here who comes to speak? What do you think about the Muslim
This is
terrorists?
the first time I come here, but
Okay, I'm telling you, we condemn them. Everyone here condemns them.
that bombing in Manchester, that young man, he was from Syria, I believe. Who did the bomb? Yeah.
That's his queen bowing down to my king, yeah? That's your queen bowing down to my king. So who's more powerful?
Yeah. Good.
Good? That's not good. Your whole future and your past is built on lies.
Just coming back to what we're
Yeah. No, I
saying.
agree. I agree.
Just coming back to what we're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
Muslims condemn terrorism. Why? Because our book tells us to do so. Our book tells us not to kill innocent people. Our book tells us not to force our religion onto other people. I was giving you references, right? You have heard certain things from individuals on the media, online or otherwise, right? That's fine. The only thing I'm asking you is this. Pick up the book that Muslims believe in, which they get the religion from.
Time, man.
Sorry?
Don't have the time.
Okay, go ask a Muslim. If you've seen any Muslim in your life, you have Muslims living neighbors around you or someone.
Yeah.
Do you believe?
I've got a mosque at the end of my road.
If you ask someone from the mosque, do you agree with the terrorism happening? They will tell you no. I'll tell you right now, before you meet any of them. So what you think Muslims are trying to do is not the reality of Muslims are trying to do. That's a misconception you have about us.
But why should I be happy about this mosque at my road? Lots of men meeting, no women, no children.
Because it's not. It's a representation.
I don't like
It's
to
a
see it.
representation of freedom of faith.
But why is
a
there no women and
representation.
children?
Sorry?
Why is there no women and children allowed?
Who said that? There is women and children
No,
around in the mosque.
I've looked at it. I've seen it on Fridays. It's often busy.
When did you see it?
This mosque. It's when the big day is Friday. Yeah.
No, which Friday did you do? Recently?
Most Fridays.
Recently?
Yeah.
The laws of the COVID recently.
see any women,
the laws. I'm
children.
asking you. I'm answering you. The laws of the COVID recently
one.
have prohibited us from bringing children to the mosque because of COVID. So I'm answering
no,
you
no,
right
no.
now. So
No,
you
I was talking
you have
before
seen,
COVID.
Before there is. You know there is a narration. Prophet
You're
Muhammad was
telling me
praying.
it's a nice mix of families.
Can I answer you?
Do you think it? Are you saying that most
Can I
mosques
ans-
is a mix of
can I
families?
ans- can I answer you? Can I answer you?
Yes or no?
Are mosques place of worship or family gatherings?
For men,
Are they place of worship or family gatherings?
I don't know, they seem to be a place for men to worship.
They are place of worship, not family gatherings. Have you been to the biggest mosque in the UK?
No, funny.
East London Mosque. Do you know there is a whole building called the Mariam Center for Women?
I don't know why it's there.
For women to
I
pray?
don't know what- in Oxford,
It's the mosque of
my
women.
hometown in Oxford, there's a Centre of Islamic Studies, which is a beautiful building
Okay.
built out of sandstone in the Oxford style.
Okay.
You know,
And?
all these it's built with Saudi money.
Okay.
Nobody cares.
No, but I'm not talking about
Nobody
that.
has any
You were
ethics.
talking about women, right?
Nobody has any ethics.
In the mosque, women are allowed, children are allowed, and men are allowed. Prophet
not.
Muhammad, I'm answering you, Prophet Muhammad used to pray.
But are you telling me when I stand outside a mosque and I ate in a restaurant opposite?
Why you don't go inside? You have your answer. You will see that there is women, there is children, and there is men.
Because I didn't want
If
to
you
have
go
a massive,
inside, you would.
I don't want to have a massive philosophical discussion that day.
Oh, you don't have to.
That's why I've come here. This is the place
You
for
don't have
this.
to. You don't have to.
This is the place for this.
Yeah, we can. So I'm answering you now. I'm answering you, and I'm telling you what you think. I'm telling you.
Everyone's reaching the code red. They were tried all day to facilitate these, and nobody's abided by it. I think you can agree with that.
Yeah, but I don't agree with
If
it.
you're having a conversation, you can go outside. It's fine.
If we're only two people, if we're only two people, it's not against the law, is it?
Two people.
Oh, they left.
Same. The police.
It's fine. It's allowed. It's fine. He left. It's okay. Okay. Coming back to what I'm saying. You said this is the place of discussion, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm telling you here, you get your information, right? I'm telling you, your information is wrong. There is men, there is women, there is children in our
I've
mosque.
seen with my own eyes.
You haven't been inside.
So what?
There is a designated
the
place for
and
women to
children
pray.
are coming in the back door.
Sorry?
You're saying
There is a designated place of women to play and designated
Yeah.
place for men to pray.
I don't. Yeah, I just don't want to see that. Yeah.
Sorry?
I think
That's fine. But
unhealthy.
that's your opinion. Why should we adopt your opinions?
Because
Why
we're
should
in
we
my
take your
country.
morality? No, but this is our worship. This is our religion.
Yes, we'll do it where you.
So we do it as we believe it, not as you believe it.
I wouldn't go to your country and do what I.
No,
you know,
people who
say.
pray in my
You should
church.
respect my right to practice
Do
my.
you know there's churches in my country, and people pray like you pray here. We
was
don't
your
force you. We don't
your
force you. We don't force you. I will tell you after we finish this. Okay. In my country, there is churches. People go. It's a Muslim country. People go. They pray like they pray here. We don't force them to pray like we do. We don't say separate men from women. They go. They pray. So this is the freedom of expression that we believe in as Muslims. Do you believe in the same?
Yes.
Okay. So we.
But I think
as
we've
Muslims,
got a much richer
these
history
women.
of freedom of expression.
I completely disagree. If you read the history, what in 1880s, 90% of the African countries were under colonization. Is that freedom of speech?
But we have
Going to other people's country, taking their wealth, destroying their country. Is that freedom of speech?
from the Magna Carta onwards, we've had a history of that.
The Crusades. Is that history of speech?
Yeah, because we
Going, taking other people's, killing them, taking their goods.
but we thought we were doing what God wanted us to.
You didn't exist at that time. How did you know what they thought?
Well, that's what I'd read of the Crusades, you know, we were going as Christian
In which
soldiers.
book? In which book?
Christian soldiers.
Sorry?
You know.
Do you know what they were taking? They were taking the goods, killing the women, and killing the children.
Yeah.
That's not what we do as Muslims.
Well,
So if you want to
can see,
compare,
we didn't want Islam spreading. You know, like you can see in the modern day, it's like America going into Vietnam.
why is Islam spreading?
We don't want communism.
Why
to
is
spread.
it spreading?
That's why we went. Into,
why is Islam spreading?
But-
Have you asked yourself that
But
question?
just think of it. I think it's a really good metaphor. Is America going into Vietnam, going into Korea to stop the spread of communism? Because we believe
But we are against communism.
we
as well.
believe it's bad. So we
But we don't believe that you should kill the children and women
we're
because
willing-
communism is bad.
Ordinary Americans were willing to lay their
You know-
lives down to stop communism spreading.
Do you agree communism is a governmental system?
Yes.
So me killing children and women is not going to fix the system.
It gives all the power to the state.
Yeah. So you should deal with the
We're
state.
about
You should
the
deal with.
individual having the power.
You agree you should deal with the state, not with the innocent individual citizen living that are forced. So that's what we believe as Muslims, right? The problem is the state is not the individual, right? Now, coming back to my point, look, simply, Islam preaches a message of peace. If you think that's wrong, if you have heard information about it that is otherwise, I'm urging you to go read. If you don't have time to read, then at least until you read, make your conclusion.
But why not go back to the source?
Why is the source? I'm telling you the Quran is the source.
Moses.
Sorry?
Moses.
But who said Moses is the source? Abraham existed before Moses. Noah existed
Yes.
before Abraham. Adam existed before all.
Yeah.
But we don't have scripture from them.
But
So
Moses.
the source is God.
Moses
The
kind
source,
of founded
the source
Israel.
is God. Do you understand that?
But Moses was like the watershed
Who
moment.
revealed to Moses?
God.
Okay, so the source is God.
Hebrew God.
The source is God.
Hebrew God.
Is God Hebrew? Is he born in a Hebrew ethnicity?
Well, he spoke to the Hebrew people.
He spoke to the Hebrew people. He spoke to the non-Hebrew
Properly.
people. To the non-Hebrew people as well. He spoke to the people of Noah.
They spoke to everyone else.
The people of Noah.
Jesus basically
people of
spread it.
Noah. There was no Hebrew people at the time of Noah.
Yeah.
God spoke to Noah and his people. Right? God is the source. We're saying the one who is revealed to Prophet Muhammad is the one who is revealed to Moses, to Jesus, to Abraham, to Noah. So if you want to go to the source, first ask yourself, is the writings about Moses accurate or not accurate? They are corrupted and changed. Do you know that?
Yeah. Gets twisted over the years.
Exactly. So if they are corrupted and changed, we cannot trust what people say Moses said, right? What
Why
people
would you
say,
trust the
because
Quran?
it's not corrupted. We
You
have
think it's perfect.
Sorry?
You think the Quran is perfect?
No, we have evidence of it. There is carbon dated. I don't know what's going on. There's carbon dated manuscripts of the Quran completely preserved from the time of the Prophet. Come, let's move a little bit this way at least, because it's too loud. So there is carbon dated manuscripts of the Quran from the time of Prophet Muhammad. So the reason is we have evidence for it. We're not making a claim that the Quran is preserved. So when I told you it's better to read the Quran than to read the Old Testament, because it's changed. If a book is changed,
How could it be better to read something newer?
I'm telling you, because that old is changed, it's corrupted. So you wouldn't know what
Exactly.
God.
So you got to go back to source. And
How can you go back to the
need to
source if you
learn
don't have
Hebrew.
it? If you don't have it,
If you learn Hebrew and read the original Hebrew text,
the original
why not learn Hebrew?
Don't interrupt, please. The Hebrew text that you're referring to is the corrupted text. Okay, Genesis, the beginning of Genesis, Shammai.
You think the Jews
the beginning
corrupted it from the start?
I'm answering you. The beginning of Genesis is Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'ta'aretz ha'aretz. That's the Hebrew. That Hebrew of Genesis is corrupted. It's 1,200 years after Moses. That Hebrew you're referring to is separate from the source. It's not the source. So the source is not there. Do you know why Allah revealed the Quran? To tell you the truth about what is corrupted and what is not corrupted in the previous scriptures. So the source is God, I'm telling you. If you want to go to the source, you go to God.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, so we're saying God revealed the last revelation, which is the Quran, to show you what is wrong and right in the previous scriptures as well. So that is the reason I'm telling you should read.
I think that God, the Hebrew God, was there before, but they
There's no such thing as the
but they
Hebrew God.
articulated it. No, I agree.
There is one God, right? There is one God.
But the God that the Hebrews are talking about was
Yes.
that one God who was always there from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And people who
The God the Hindus
but
speaking
people-
about is the same.
Yeah, people
The God-
before there was organized religions knew that. They
What do
were
you
saying,
mean by organized religion?
growing up, you will be, your father tells you, teaches you the ways of your religion. But
No, I learned
before that,
myself.
when people were like, you know, just living in tribes,
When
nomadic tribes. Some people had the sense that there was a God looking over them.
So would you say
they were still saying?
You're following
They
organized?
didn't have the words to express it.
Your father is British, yeah?
Yes.
So are you saying you are
English.
following organized English religion because he taught you things when you were young?
Yes. But now I've read stuff and I realised that he was misguided.
So why do you think Muslims don't do the same? We read. If we found,
you don't question enough.
I'm telling. What religions am I telling you about? The Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament. If I'm not questioning, why would I read your scripture?
You can't say that the Jews don't question. They don't like.
I didn't say that.
You have old rabbis. They sit around and just pick it apart.
You do question, but not every Jew.
Yeah, but that's the cult. That's Jewish culture. It's like deep in their culture.
No, there is conservative Jews as well.
Of imams sitting around discussing, you know, saying, "Oh, I don't agree with this bit in the hadith," because they go, "Right, you're an infidel."
Which imams are doing that?
No, they don't do it.
These are the ones you watch online. I'm telling you, look.
They don't sit around questioning the hadith.
Do you know my advice?
Do they?
My advice.
Do they question the hadith?
No.
No, they don't.
Do you know why?
There you go.
Do you know why they don't?
So I say you don't question enough.
Why not?
Because you don't think you.
Can you tell me why they don't?
You don't think you should question God.
Look, in the hadith, we have a process of correct hadith, authentic and non-authentic. If we didn't question, how did we make two categories?
Sorry.
Why do we have authentic and non-authentic hadith if we didn't question it?
I don't know.
Because we questioned it, my friend.
I've heard that phrase, authentic.
I'm telling you now. There's sahih and da'if. Weak, fabricated, and we have authentic. The reason we have these categories is because we question.
Yeah.
There is a process, there is a science behind what we accept of hadith or not. But that questioning happened years ago already. So we had the result. What is authentic and what is not authentic. So what is the point of me doing the same process today that happened before? Do you get the point? The people of today are not questioning because the process happened already.
Yeah.
The authentication happened.
happened.
No, who said that?
Because it's
I'm telling you, the Quran tells you to question.
Isn't there a phrase like, you know, something along the lines of not questioning God? Like, if God wills it, you know, Bismillah is it? Or
Bismillah means in the name of Allah.
in the name of Allah.
Okay, can I answer you? Do you know what Allah says?
Inshallah.
Do you know what Allah says in the
Inshallah.
Quran? Inshallah means God willing.
Yeah, God, you know, so it's
God
like,
willing doesn't mean what you think.
well,
it means. Okay,
God wills it, then
can I answer you?
you don't question God's will.
Can I answer you? Okay, look. First, we need to know is God's wills or not, right?
Yeah.
If we know it's God's wills, why would we question it? It's about knowing whether it's God's will or not. Allah says in the Quran in chapter 5, verse 104, right? If it's said to someone, come and follow Islam, they say it's sufficient. It's enough for me what I found my forefathers upon. You found your forefathers on the English culture, you say is enough for me. You know what Allah says? What if your forefathers did not know or were not guided? What does that mean?
But they were guided by Jews.
I'm saying the Quran tells you there, question.
They weren't guided by
the Quran
Islam.
tells you there, question what your forefathers have brought to you. Don't just follow it. The Quran teaches you to question, to look for evidences.
That's just not true.
But you haven't read it.
Yeah, but I just know.
So how do you know it's not true? You made up your mind before reading it.
Because I just know.
Why did I tell you to go and pick up a book and read? Go to the mosque yourself, see what is going on there, rather than listening to some hearsay around and believing it,
But
taking it wholesale.
I've never seen imams like pick apart.
What? How many imams have you seen?
But it would be like a noble, you know, like a common thing. Oh yeah. Like I know that rabbis do that because you just know it.
How many rabbis have you seen?
Not many, but you hear it over and
I
over.
don't think you have even one.
You hear it from different.
You know how hard is it to find a rabbi?
No, I've got a lawyer, Jewish lawyer, you know, and
Okay.
I've talked to him about this stuff.
Okay. So you have a Jewish lawyer. I'm saying a rabbi.
And I've read
I'm saying a
Disraeli,
rabbi.
who's probably the wisest Jew of all time.
Sorry?
I've read a lot of Disraeli's novels, and he wrote these novels
Okay.
specifically to teach us ignorance as Saxons about our own history, because we're
now,
all so ignorant.
So now you believe the Jewish people are you should
He was
leave.
an English Jew,
So he was an English Jew.
and he wrote these novels
Can you tell me what does Jew
out of
mean?
love to teach us out of love. Yeah, because he wanted to help us.
So you believe that you should help the Jewish people?
Yes, because we owe a lot to them. Yeah.
Sorry?
We owe a lot to them.
Okay.
That's why the Nazis killed them, because they were jealous, because they'd, you know, taken over their
Are
society.
you secretly Jewish?
Well, you know, it's not,
You are secretly Jewish, aren't you?
well, there is a genetic kind of
Okay.
race of Jewish, but also, you know,
Are you Jewish yourself?
There's lots of Arab Jews.
Are you Jewish yourself?
You know, what Syrian Jews,
I'm asking you, are you Jewish yourself?
Apple Jews. No.
Are you Jewish?
Yes.
Okay. Now we finally reach the important point.
But only recently from reading.
Okay.
From reading.
And now answering your question.
Why not go to the source? That's what the conclusion I come to.
Because you misunderstood it. You thought it's the source and it's not. The source was always
need to
God.
read all the ancient Jewish stuff, then I'll go to the Christian, and then maybe if I got time I'll read the...
That's fine, that's your choice. I don't mind, you can do that.
In chronological
you
order,
can do that. You can do that.
Why not?
It's up to you, you can.
That's good, right?
I'm not against it, you
It's
can.
not wise to do it in...
It's fine. I don't disagree. But do you know what I'm telling you in this conversation? Do you know what I want to get in?
I don't know.
Before you make a claim or you make some...
I know you won't. You would never change your mind, I can see that.
Change my mind about what?
About anything.
You're saying I can change my mind and you don't even have a topic in mind.
Well,
give me a topic that I won't change my mind of.
That Christianity and Islam are just watered down versions of Judaism.
If you give me sufficient evidence, I will change my mind.
Well,
right now. What evidence do you have for that claim?
That it all started in Israel.
Sorry? Islam started in Israel?
No, the Old Testament.
But you said Islam and Christianity.
The Old Testament was written in Israel.
How do you know that?
Well,
do you know where the Dead Sea Scrolls are found?
In the Dead Sea.
Yeah. Is that Israel?
Well,
the cave of Qumran is not Israel.
Yeah, no, it's changed. I mean,
okay.
There were cultures.
So the problem is
there were many cultures before Israel. You know, just
humbly and respectfully. If you support Judaism,
the Assyrians were way before the Jews.
If you support Judaism,
but they all bowed down to Judaism when it came along.
That's fine. If you support Judaism,
do you agree? The Assyrians wanted to be Jewish.
Do you know Muslims protected the Jews for 1,000 years?
But when
so why you don't thank Muslims for that?
But when people hear the word of God, they all go, "Yeah, that sounds good. I'm up for that."
Why you don't thank Muslims for protecting the Jews for 1,000 years?
Sorry?
Protecting the Jews from the Christians. Why you don't thank the Muslims for that? Muslims protected the Jewish people from Christians for 1,000 years. Why you don't thank Muslims for that? If you care about the Jewish people, you should thank the Muslims.
Lately.
Where? When did we kill Jewish people?
Well, even like this country is probably the best place for Jewish people to live. But if you look,
where did Muslims kill Jewish people?
If you look at France, there's a very big.
It's a horrible country. I don't want to even talk about it.
Yeah, but there's a huge anti-Semitic sentiment there.
Do you know Muslims?
So many
Do you know Muslims are against France?
What?
Do you know Muslims are against France
really?
as well?
Algerians.
Yeah. Muslims, not just Algerians. All Muslims.
Yeah, but what about Algerian Muslims?
Algerian Muslims were colonized by France for over 100 years.
Yeah.
Right? So of course they're not going to be happy with them, are they?
So they want to destroy France now.
No,
because they're pissed. They're bitter.
No. If they wanted to destroy it, they would destroy it a long time ago. What are they waiting for?
Well, it's pretty much done. Yeah.
Sorry.
And Germany.
Pretty much done. You believe France is destroyed?
You know, the Nazis killed millions of Jews very recently.
Recently.
And they expect.
You mean at the time of Hitler?
They expect to be forgiven now.
You mean at the time of Hitler?
What?
You mean at the time of Hitler?
Yeah, but they're never going to get over that.
Do you know that Jewish people believe that Muslims are going to...
The Germans will never forgive themselves.
Do you know that Jewish people believe Muslims are going to heaven?
Some of them may.
No, they do believe that. Do you know why?
Not all of them.
Because Muslims...
They're all different. You can't say they're all the same.
Which ones?
Like
Which ones don't?
Muslims
Which ones don't?
They're all kind. They're so. They've all got. Everyone has got a slightly different philosophy.
Do you know why they believe they're going to
Because
heaven?
you're allowed to have different ideas, but
do you know why they believe that?
Muslims have very similar.
Do you know why they believe that? Because Muslims are monotheistic. They believe in one God. No.
Freedom of thought.
No. Because the most important thing. What is the most important thing to a Jew? What is the most important commandment?
Freedom.
You're not Jewish then. You don't know the most important commandment?
No.
If I say to you, Shema Israel Adonai Elohim Adonai Echad, what does that mean?
No, I don't know what that means.
So you're not Jewish.
I believe.
You made a claim you're Jewish, but you don't know the most important commandment for Jewish people.
Hebrew, no, but I believe the bottom rule. You know, Moses led the people out of Egypt. You know, the bottom line is freedom.
So you are a sheep for the Jewish people.
A sheep.
Yeah. You're a person who wants to protect them and follow their commandments.
Yeah, well,
you're a Jewish sheep.
I think Moses was good to lead the people out of slavery in Egypt.
You are a Jewish sheep. Muslims are not Jewish sheep.
You say I'm a sheep. No, I'm not a sheep because I think
are you sure you think?
Yeah, I'm very critical.
Can you tell me what is the oldest manuscript?
If I hear a better idea, I'll change my mind, but I don't hear a better idea coming out of your mouth.
The problem is what you're following, you haven't investigated.
What do you mean I haven't investigated?
The Old Testament. What is the oldest manuscript?
Last few years, I've just been reading as much as I can on...
Why you're reading corrupted books that you agreed that is corrupted? Changed by humans.
That's your opinion. Corrupted books, you don't know which books I read. You said they're.
No, I'm referring to the Old
that's
Testament that you're
that's
saying you're reading.
silly.
The Old Testament I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's translated by a Catholic, by a Christian. So
No, I'm saying
I
the
wanna-
Hebrew is changed.
right, yeah. I want
Hebrew is 1,200
multiple
years.
different translations, and then maybe you'll get.
But what's the point? I'm saying
What's the point?
The source is corrupted. That you're reading translations of.
Yeah, well, that's
But
the best
what-
we got.
Sorry?
So
No, I'm
read
showing you
nothing.
some. I'm
Just
showing.
read nothing.
I told you what to
Okay.
read. The Quran, which is
Don't
not
read
corrupted.
anything.
Read the Quran, which is not corrupted.
But why would I read that?
Because it's not corrupted.
How could it be not corrupted? Something that came so many years later.
Because it's from the source, from the time of the source.
Why wouldn't it have been? Why wouldn't it have been founded?
Is your problem
way
just
before?
with the history, the time? Is that your only problem?
Well, I just respect things that seem to have been tried and trusted.
Why are you not following Hinduism? It's before the Jewish people.
Because most Hindus, when they hear Judaism, they go, yeah, that's probably a better idea.
No, that's before. Are you now making claims about Hindus? I don't think you know any Hindus, my
I
friend.
don't think there's many Jews who become Hindus. But
Sorry?
I don't,
You cannot become. Do you think Hindus can become Jewish?
well, yeah.
You need to go ask your lawyer if can Hindus become Jewish or not.
Well, no, yeah.
Well, look.
If they bow down to God, and say, yeah,
If they become sheep,
this is the truth.
if they become sheep.
You can say sheep.
Okay, look.
But
I think
it's tiring being
I think
alone,
honestly,
being an individual saying there's no God, I don't need any God. You know,
Okay.
it gets boring.
Okay.
I want to just have some love. And
So you
God.
believe in God?
Yeah, because I'm tired of being an atheist. I realise it's foolish to be an atheist.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Look, we agree on much more than you think we disagree upon.
Whatever, but
It's not happy with that. Okay, look, I have nothing against
think
you.
you're
Can you tell me your name because I didn't ask your name? What's your name?
Franco.
Franco. Okay, look, I have nothing against you, Franco. Right? Muslims.
I think you're a kind of sophist and you've got bad intentions with your
That's fine.
debate.
You're entitled. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't mind.
Not
You can-
interested in growing your mind, in hearing a different opinion. You want to just make people look bad, people look stupid. I believe that's your.
Do you think I made you look stupid?
No, you couldn't because you're not. You've got nothing.
So why did you say
you're
that?
not speaking out of love, so you're never.
How do you know I'm not speaking out of love?
Because I can tell in your tone and your body language, the little look in your eye.
Okay. So in what point am I talking to you? What is my intentions?
Well, you got this kind of like, you believe you're right and you got nothing.
Is there a chance that I could be? Is there a chance that I could be right?
You got nothing to learn.
I got nothing to learn.
You're certain that
Do you have something
that the
valuable
Quran
to
is
teach?
uncorruptible. For some reason, you put the Quran up on its pedestal, whereas the Old Testament is corrupt.
Because I looked at both. I
Right.
studied the
So
history behind both.
You've studied the unique information which gives you the truth. But anyone else, no one
I
else.
don't say it's unique. You can study it
Anyone
as
else
well.
can't quite get to the truth.
No,
as
all-
good
they all
as well
can.
as you can.
They all can.
No,
They all can. You can as well.
Yeah, but I say
But you
I
haven't
have.
done the research.
I've got a different truth to you.
No, you say you
different.
You say you have, but you haven't read.
Yeah, but you don't know.
You told me you haven't
You're
read.
ignorant of my knowledge, and I'm ignorant of yours.
You told me you haven't read.
I've read lots of things that you
You told me you haven't read the Quran. You haven't finished reading the Old Testament. You haven't read the.
No, you never finished reading the Old Testament.
Sorry?
You never finished.
Who told you that?
You must reread it.
Now you know what I think when you just said you don't know what I think.
I'd
and I'm
rather
yours.
reread that than read the Quran.
Okay, look. If you think my intentions are ill, that's fine. That's your opinion. You can have it, right?
Yeah,
What I want to say from this conversation
I'm a
is.
pretty good judge of character.
Okay, whatever you think of me, to me is irrelevant. What I want to get from this conversation is the following: not you liking me, not you being my friend. That's something I don't
no.
care about. What I care about is the following: before you have a bad idea about Muslims, at least read about them. At least ask them what they believe, rather than following what people are saying about them. I don't judge you based on what other people are saying about you.
Well, all I see is that it ruins countries.
What are ruined
that are
countries? The
majority
British
Muslim.
ruined countries?
Well, look at a good example. A recent example is Lebanon and Beirut. You know,
They've been colonized by liberalism. That's what happened to them.
yeah, but who are the government?
So what ruined them is your country.
Is the government not affiliated with Muslims, with Hezbollah?
No. Who gave you get information from?
Well, it's certainly not from the mainstream
Certainly
news.
online somewhere on
certainly
YouTube.
not from the news, because they won't talk about this
Where is
stuff
it from
ever.
then? Where is
they
it
don't even
from?
want to mention Hamas. They pretend Hamas doesn't
The only
exist.
thing news talks about are Muslims being terrorists or this or that. That's the only thing they talk about.
What do you think the Beirut citizens, do you think they're happy?
Sorry?
Do you think the Beirut citizens are happy?
I haven't been to Beirut, so I cannot make a claim about
leaving
them.
explosive chemicals in the centre of their city, which just blew the whole city.
Have you been to Beirut?
Do you think that would happen?
Oh no, I disagree with
You're
talking about the explosion that happened, yeah?
Do you think they would allow that in Jerusalem?
Oh, they had explosions in
Just
Israel.
to leave all these chemicals
They had
around?
explosions. They had explosions and fires in Israel.
Right, yeah.
They had that
every day.
Sorry?
All the time.
So all the time in Beirut? When was the last time before the recent one?
It's not acceptable
Sorry?
that the government allows these dangerous chemicals to just sit there.
I agree.
Yeah.
How is that relevant to a Muslim
Because
think
the
and belief?
government is, you saying none of that government is Muslim.
Someone being Muslim, does it mean every action he does is Islamic?
Well, I'm just saying that it's corrupted the government.
So, can you tell me,
If they were
where did
Jewish,
Islam corrupt the
if
government?
it was run by the Jews.
So Islam told the government to go make chemicals and explode themselves.
No, it's just they're corrupt, so they don't keep an eye on, they don't run things well. It's not well
Okay,
organized.
and Islam told them not to do that.
Well, maybe it's a side effect of
That's what you think. I'm telling you that's not true.
Hamas and you're telling me that Hamas is not wrapped up with the Palestinian government.
Hamas is fighting the Jewish people.
Yes,
And the
they're
Jewish
firing
people
missiles across.
and Jewish people are fighting Hamas.
Yes.
They're killing their children and they're killing their children.
Yes.
There's a fight been going on for years now. I'm not going to change it, you're not going to change it.
No.
Fights happen, wars happen.
But do you think the civilians of Palestine are happier than the civilians of
No, I
Israel?
think which ones? The
Who do you think
Palestinians or the Jewish people?
Who do you think has a better quality of life? The Israelis?
The Jewish people
or the Palestine?
the Jewish people.
There you go.
Yeah, but because they forced the other people to have low life. Is that what you agree with?
No, I'm just saying if Palestine became Jewish,
Became Jewish
they
by
would
force.
No, they would
By
have
force.
but they'd have a better quality of life.
So by force they should submit
Well, a lot
and
of them
kneel
want-
down.
A lot of them wish they were.
And kneel down.
Don't you think?
You know, you are a Jewish sheep, and I would say that's the end of this conversation.
Now you're just making personal attack.
No, it's the truth.
No, okay.
Do
whatever.
you believe you should bow down to the Jews?
But you can't deny.
Do you believe you should bow down to the Jews?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Done.
No,
Zionist.
Done, man. I'm done with this conversation.
No, we
Okay.
work together.
Thank you for your time.
No, I know
You can bow down to them. Thank you.
You don't like it because Hamas.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, bro.
Made Palestine a hell, living hell.
Who gave shelter first? Jewish people, Palestinians.
Why won't you let the
shelter?
Palestinians go and